World Hardcourt Bike Polo Championships here, Lexington, Kentucky. I'm Elias Sagami.
And I'm Dante Kurth.
This is the final day of our live stream coverage of the World Championships. And this is it. This is what everyone's been working towards.
Yeah, so we've had, like 4 or 5 days of polo now leading up to this?
Yes, this is the fourth day of the tournament, of the main event. And we're ready to start off our, no soft matches. We're jumping straight into Impossiboys versus Bob Ross. All right.
On the roster today for Impossiboys, we have Robert, Lewis, Bernard, and Fonto, I think prefers to be called Woods. And in Bob Ross, an entirely Seattle-based team now, we have Sterling, Koyo, Nick McLean, Chris Hammersley, and Julian.
Yes, and so what we have here is definitely a power matchup of fundamentals bike polo teams coming together, and we'll see who wins the day. Later on this afternoon, the final top 8 will go into a single elimination bracket, and we'll have an ultimate champion.
And we should have this game starting up anytime soon now. So.
All right.
So to our left in the blue, we have Impossiboys, and in the Woodlands camo with gold lettering, we have Bob Ross. Never one to be short on style, so. And our head ref is Mark Asseltine for the day. Oh, sorry for this court.
Hope they're warm. Hope they're warm. Oh. Oh, false start. A little bit of nerves here. You can tell they're ready to go. They're not waiting. They're not going to wait to save their energy for later. They're gonna jump right in.
Well, they said this is the 4th day of the main event, so there is, obviously on the line at this point. They've had
absolutely.
A very intense follow. So
they're not competing for second place or third place or fourth place. They're all here to get first. Oh.
And we have Rob claiming the ball from Impossiboys. Moving up the right-hand side of the court, looking for a cross pass to Bernard. Can't get it off. And the ball goes loose behind Bob Ross's goal. Oh, no, sorry. All version Impossiboys, excuse me. Missed that there. And a
long
big
shot
pass by Woods. And collected by Rob behind Bob Ross's goals. Challenged by Chris Hammersley and Nick McLean. And the ball is loose in Bob Ross's D. Nick McLean collects. Drop pass to Julian. Doing it with a cross ground lacrosse, but hits off Rob's wheel.
Hard shot there, rear wheel. I think. Oh! Slight deflection at the end there. Bob Ross needing some coffee, I think, this morning.
Well, I mean, there's quite a few looking.
You know what works better than coffee, though?
So. What?
A close call.
A close call.
That'll wake you up. That'll wake you up. Or it better wake you up. Better not take 2 close calls to wake you up.
No, you really hope the one can do it that does. All right, so Chris Hammersley on ball now.
Shooting opportunity.
I've always been impressed by watching him play polo, but is definitely, after seeing him in person, one of the most impressive bike handlers here today, if not in the world as a whole.
Well, I think the way to describe Chris's bike handling is that it's graceful.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of players who
really harsh
you have to muscle the bike around, but Chris can seemingly do it with so much grace and finesse. Okay, so we now have Rob with the ball. Ball's deflected off by Chris again. Challenged to the side of the court by Rob. And the ball goes home to Impossiboys, picked up by Bernard. That's a scoop pass up to Woods. Tries to get a shot off and does it off Julian's wheel.
Now, it's still pretty cool this morning, so that orange ball is going to stay really poppy for at least the first few matches here. That's definitely an advantage for a shooting team like Bob Ross that can take them from 20 or 30 out of goal.
Yeah,
they won't wait until they're in tighter. Oh, a little bit of a bumble there by Impossiboys. Chris Hammersley pulls it away. Impossiboys rescue their own ball.
Now, I'd say at this point, I mean, at least to my mind, I think probably Bob Ross would be the favourite going into this game, purely maybe because of their profile in North America as like a Seattle 206 super team.
I would agree. Impossiboys did win the European European Squad Championship last year.
The Dominion Cup, I think it was called.
Yes, the Dominion Cup. And so they're, of all the European teams, the most enthusiastic about squad.
Yeah. And certainly in that case, the most seasoned as well. They've been playing as a full squad. They have been for quite a while now. So
it's definitely an advantage.
And so I suppose what I was getting with that is that they're in no way a slouchy team, and this this could honestly go either way.
There's no chumps left in this tournament.
No, absolutely not.
There's no chumps that showed up to this tournament. Just all fire and fury, hard shots, great handling.
And Chris Hammersley goes up to challenge Rob for the ball. They have a little bit of space, not wanting to get caught too deep. And a dump pass to be picked up by Woods from Impossiboys. Chris Hammersley still not giving them very much space, just trying to stick to front wheels. A great poke tackle, but can't quite get that ball. Woods coming up court with a little chip pass, doesn't quite go in.
There we are. Impossiboys getting across off. Oh, goes high. There's that ball. It's really poppy.
As you were saying, absolutely. When the ball is fresh and when it's cold, it's certainly the right time to rip shots.
No time like the present.
Okay, we have Woods being challenged by Chris again. Just managed to get past him. With a cross pass to Bernard, can't get there. Through his bottom bracket. That was some very nice contact between Chris and Bernard just there.
Nothing more than was needed.
No. High, even, clean, tucked elbows, perfect. And Rob with the ball. Drop pass to Bernard, being challenged by Chris.
Having a little bit of glare on the timekeeping scoreboard. We'll update you with the time on this match whenever we get it from the timekeeper, official timekeeper Shannon Frey. Ooh, good shot there by Bernard. Blocked by Redbeard's front wheel.
I do believe as well, in saying that, we do have our fantastic graphic down in the center right of the screen, so it looks like there's about 24 minutes left remaining. Oh, excuse me, just shy of 25. And Chris working his way back to... Oh, no, spoke too soon. Chris just retaining possession for Bob Ross at the moment. And over the pass, but doesn't quite get off right and just goes straight into golf and clean to easily just push away.
Now, there's one other thing that should be mentioned here is that because it's still early in the morning now, there's a little bit of a disadvantage to Bob Ross with the sun angle in goal. This goalie could potentially have a little bit of sun in their eyes if Impossiboys take advantage of the right wing on their attack. That that's enough right there to potentially get a little extra leverage on a shot. Ooh, miracle block.
Beautiful
in
shot,
fact, you know
very
what?
well deflected.
I'm not one to usually say that people this skilled get a little lucky, but I think Redbird got a little lucky on that one.
Good pick by Chris Hammersley to pick that pass. With a shot and wide left. And Julian, now playing for Bob Ross, but formerly of the Guardians, who before that were Fortress and then Team Smile. So a very sort of decorated veteran polo player there.
Absolutely, and a little fun fact here. Julian invented the squad format.
I've heard this, yes. So what's the story behind that, Elias?
So Julian was trying to kind of rectify the issues with the large format bench with the small format 3v3 and came up with a reason to have it be 5v5 dressed for a match. And essentially, the idea was, hey, if you've got 6, then really what you do is you're just combining 2 3v3 teams, and you can send out 2 separate teams. You can just, when one team's tired, you can just go with the other. Whereas with 5v5 and needing 3 people on the court at any given time, Julian really tapped into this idea that your team would always have to know how to play with everyone else on your team because you could never do a full line change. And it also helped because the team size wasn't going to be as large, and ultimately made the got rid of some of the issues that existed with big bench formats.
Interesting what you say as well. So at the moment we have a drive from Woods going up towards goal. But Impossiboys is actually one of the other teams in this tournament who are playing as a 4-player team.
And it's out of bounds.
So, I mean, with a team that has chosen to only take 4 players to a tournament like this, you'd have to wonder after 3 days of polo, but now I think if they make it all the way through to the final, it'll be, I think a full 6 or 7 games, so close to
Well,
4 or 5 games.
they're gonna have 3 games this morning, and the top 8 teams that make it through will have to win in 7.
Okay, so there we go. So potentially like 3.5 hours.
So the winner of today is going to have 10 matches.
10 matches. Oh, yep, sorry. Clearly it is early in the morning, my counting is off. Okay, so we have Chris the ball working his way up towards goal, and just wide right.
Oh, I'm sorry, not 10 matches. What am I thinking? It would be a total of 6 matches.
Alright. So we have Rob collecting the ball, being challenged by Chris, working way up towards goal. McLean sitting top of crease, Woods with a par with a shot just off Julian's mallet, and Hammersley collects.
The calm in front of the crease is kind of incredible
Yeah.
for Bob Ross. That's the moment where I'm panicked. Oh,
And a
one-on-one opportunity. That's the one. Impossiboys taking the first goal. Lead by 1.
By Rob, who I think, although playing for a European team at the moment, is originally from Alabama.
He is American. Rob is American. I believe he was living, or maybe he still lives, in New York State. I don't know if it's New York. It's not New York City, but I think it's New York State.
I think Rob is based in Europe at the moment, but I could be very wrong with that.
I know he was in France for a while. He speaks French.
Okay. So now we have a line change for Bob Ross. We've had Koyo brought on for Nick McLean. And we have Bernard working his way up towards goal. Shot across here off Julian's front wheel. Managed to recollect his own shot and make another attempt.
I think, well, if a lucky shot and a close call won't wake you up, and a goal won't wake you up, you're gonna need to. I don't know what's gonna take here, but Bob Ross needs to stop being so sleepy on this court. The fact that Impossiboys have had more shots on, definitely not a good sign for this team. A team that's distinctly out to prove that they are absolutely the champions that they designed this team to be.
And we have Rob with the ball. Big shot.
Ooh, that ball is...
The ball is hard, but also, I mean, these boards here in Lexington have a wicked bounce. If you do rib it hard enough with a fresh ball, you can generally get it to spew back out almost directly in front of your goal. Another shot from Koyo. Koyo collects, being challenged by Woods on the boards. So as well as being a beautiful sunny morning, we are also experiencing a little bit of wind at the moment, with a chance of a weather change later in the day, so we do apologise if it gets a little bit breezy out here. A big shot from Julian, off Rob's bike, and going back to their own half for a reset.
Physics gave the ball back. Get a little rebate there.
Koyo's still with the ball, just working hard to try and get it around Rob as much as he can, but decides to ditch Julian instead.
Bob Ross, despite being down, not afraid to play 3 up. Ooh, Chris Hammersley baiting Rob on the inside there. Koyo looking for a shooting lane. Can't find it.
Woods front swirl, yeah.
Shooting opportunity. Ooh.
And deflect off Julian's wheel. Sorry. No.
Julian, unshaken.
And I suppose at this point, yes, it is the final day. Yes, every one of these games matters a lot. But being one up with 17 minutes left in the game against a team like Bob Ross doesn't put Impossiboys in a position where they should feel super secure. I mean, we've seen them, both these teams, pull out amazing wins over the course of these last 3 days.
No, comfort is death. If you relax at all, you're done for.
And
Koyo goes down defending against the charge. And he's back in full hero mode. And he's down again. Koyo having issues with his balance this morning.
Drop pass to Koyo from Chris. Drop pass to Julian.
Double drug deal. Backhand. Front wheel. Ooh. And there it was. No time to defend. That's the cost of playing 3 up. Not that it's a bad strategy. It's just here we are now, 2 up on Bob Ross. Impossiboys locking down their own defense and looking for a counterattack. Let's see this.
And here we
Far
have a
shot.
massive rip and straight and goal.
Center. Oof. Chris just could not get his eyes on the ball.
Okay, and so we now have Koyo working his way up the court with a pass up to Hammersley, and we've had a line change for Impossiboys. We've had Rob subbed off for Louis.
Ooh, shoulder to shoulder. No one goes down.
Interesting little bit of information as well. I mean, as we've just seen there, 2 of the players from Impossiboys are actually still playing on flat pedals, so not clipped in like the majority of players here.
Which is definitely a novelty at this year in Polo.
Yeah.
To see that sort of control still on flats.
And there are a lot of players who, do still play in flats, but it's rare to see this many people at a high level tourney who would. Like, most people would only put their clipped-in shoes on.
Absolutely.
It seems to have done Impossiboys no disservice so far. We've also had a line change for Bob Ross as well, with having Sterling brought on to replace Nick McLean.
Now, Sterling was missing kind of last night in their final match, and I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe they were just keeping him rested for today. But Sterling, definitely a young gun, the kind of player that's going to have a little bit more extra energy on this court, especially if he's fresh.
First of all, but also, I mean, resting Sterling is a very good idea, but I wouldn't be surprised if he could have played every match for its entirety. He's an incredibly fit person and is already like a pretty high level athlete when it comes to like cyclocross racing or road racing and mountain biking as well.
He is a Cat 1 cyclocross racer. Absolutely.
So, I mean, while he certainly could get tired out in the court, I don't feel it's going to be a huge issue for him as much as it will be for some other players. So you now have Rob coming on again to replace Bernard, and cross pass to Louis off the boards, and Sterling challenging hard. Go with deflect. Chris Hammersley. And a call for Toplin.
Bob Ross still not feeling awake. Not feeling awake to me. Chris Hammersley's coming off. And here comes Redbeard onto the court. Let's see if this changeup does anything. Rob fakes the backhand. Oh.
And with the ball being challenged hard by Koyo.
Koyo on the attack, on the forecheck.
Just given no space by Bob Ross there.
No.
And Rob dumps the ball back into their own half just for a reset.
This is the Koyo I was looking to see right here. Impossiboys starting to get their confidence about them. really taking advantage of this 2-point lead right now. Cooling the ball down here, forcing Bob Ross to challenge them more aggressively. Goalie not quite in position. Koyo shoots, just barely narrow right outside the goal.
And a
Long
big hit
shot
from Rob. And
deflected into
out of space.
another
Yeah.
continent.
Another realm, another place of existence.
Exactly. Space done been bent.
So there is just over 10 minutes left in the game, with Impossiboys with a 2-0 lead over Bob Ross. That'll be Impossiboys' ball after the deflect off Nick McLean, or Redbeard's mallet, he's also known.
I'd say that the Koyo Sterling line is maybe my favorite on Bob Ross.
Well, in fact, these three players all played the Pro Hardcourt Bike Polo Championships, which is a fixed craft event. Actually, it's a squad format as well, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It was a test demonstration of the format put on by Fixed Craft a couple years ago.
They've played in the Co-Girls with, I think, was Erica Compton playing with them?
I can't quite recall the roster.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think it may have been Erica Compton and Stuyvesant, but I'm sure someone on the internet knows better than I will, and is sure to correct me. Okay, so we have Nick McLean challenging the ball.
Ooh.
Challenged by Rob.
Redbeard goes down. They get away with a luckiest hair-thin miss there. Redbeard totally off balance there. After a slight little bit of a hit there by Rob. Ooh, good clear.
And Nick McLean rolls out a goal to get that ball.
With under 10 minutes left in this match, Bob Ross needs to put it together now. There's nothing to... I know that 10 minutes may be an eternity match. It's almost the full length of a 3v3 match. But Bob Ross needs to play with the intensity of having relief players. They need to show that they can get that intensity way, way higher than they're playing right now.
Nick with a bank shot. And collected by Rob. Koyo up.
Ooh! Hits side post there. Amazing that accuracy still to get like a seatbelt shot that high and that precise.
And McLean collects. We're now seeing Impossiboys, as you said earlier, really playing a very, very tight defensive position at the moment.
Oh, absolutely.
And placing the top of crease, goalie stationary. And not exactly playing for time, but just playing very, very safe polo at the moment, wanting to control every aspect of this game.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to keep that pressure on and force Bob Ross to stretch themselves out. And that's why Bob Ross has to play a little bit more vulnerable right now, because that's the only way they're going to be able to get aggressive enough to come back from a 2-point deficit. Koyo. Oh, right into the mallet. Impossiboys. Recollect. Koyo not taking any desperation shots, still knowing that he needs quality here. Ooh, Redbeard kind of bumbles. Koyo for the rescue. Hard shot into the mallet. Oh my goodness, and it double save there by Impossiboys. One from Koyo, one from Redbeard, and then a clear right when it was sitting on the line. Koyo.
We have an
Ooh.
unforced error from Impossiboys.
Rob's down.
Subbing out immediately for Bernard.
Smart move there by Impossiboys to do the substitution while a player down. Whenever you're coming onto the court, you get a free dab. You don't have to come and tap in, even if the player you're substituting for was dabbed whenever they went out. Smart play there by Impossiboys. That's a pretty clutch audible right there.
Yeah, it took about 5 minutes of most of these teams to realise that it was way, way more efficient just to have a sub out as opposed to trying to get a player from dabbing in if you were, in such a tight defensive position. Okay, so we've had Lou collecting the ball. Bernard looking for a pass. And Woods collecting. Koyu challenging. Dump pass through Woods' bottom bracket to himself, actually.
Now the sun has moved some, so Bob Ross no longer has the sun directly in the goalie's eyes.
And Nick McLean sings it from half. Bringing the scores to 2-1. Impossiboys with a 1-point lead with 6 minutes to go. Okay, so let's see if Bob Ross can keep this momentum going. They've managed to keep the ball in Impossiboys half for a while now, but let's see
Nick
the shot from
McLean
Nick
turns, open shoulder, he sees it, clear lane, fires, and buries it.
Just given a little bit too much space. And Koyu's coming in very, very hot now.
Ooh,
down.
And there's an advantage for Bob Ross. Can they capitalize? This could be the opportunity they've been looking for. Koyo back
Off
to
to Sterling.
Sterling.
Just slowly working them up the court.
I really like Sterling's focus face. I think my focus face, my try face, is like
And
the
a great
worst
shot
thing
from
ever.
Sterling.
Oof.
Another rip from Nick McLean off the bounce.
And Impossiboys kill the advantage.
Game possession and the ball goes back to Bob Ross.
Impossiboys visibly eager to get back into it. All right, Redbeard's up with Koyo, coming up left wing. Bernard hunting, looking for that cross pass. Redbeard doesn't give it to him. And he's down, but immediately back in. Koyo looking for a shooting lane, finds Redbeard, but Redbeard can't get the shot off. Bernard. Ooh, tries a back pass and just chops it.
Nick McLean chasing hard in the corner. Being challenged by Bernard.
Ooh.
Still in contention for the ball, but no. A dump pass behind goal. Koyo challenges. And Lou gets a touch on. Be challenged by Stills, rolling out a goal.
3 turnovers back to back, but still moving down towards Bob Ross's territory there. This shows how engaged both teams are, even in high speed, even while moving down the court. A lot of times you'll see teams get jammed up and just locked in one location, where the fight on this match has been going all the way down the boards. Incredible.
And Koyo with the ball. And there was a lane.
Ooh, hard
We see
shot.
Impossiboys coming out of the very, very tight, almost double goalie position, and Koyo sees the opportunity and takes a rip.
Ooh, through, shoots.
And off Stills' rear wheel. Koyo with the ball now. Big shot off Bernard's rear wheel.
Cross, front wheel,
Please.
forearm, right into the 5-hole.
Please tell me we have a replay of that.
Oh. That first shot that Koyo hit from his own side was actually really dangerous.
Because here we
See
go.
this,
Let's
here
see
we
the
go.
slow motion.
Koyo,
And big open arm
cross
shot from Koyo right through bottom bracket.
absolutely, just
And
very
scores are tied.
deep.
So we've got a cross now.
It's a tie game now. Bob
big one from
Ross
Rob to start.
getting the last 2. Koyo. 2 to beat. Shoots for far post. Goes a little wide to the right. Impossiboys collect. Going to try to answer that. Backhand kind of scrapes it. Not a really clean hit there.
We have Koyo and Louis fighting for that ball, Louis retaining possession.
Oh no. Redbeard getting a hit right on the valve there, and going to flat. Immediately though, Chris Hammersley on the court. Good on Bob Ross to be ready for an on-the-fly substitution like that. Definitely not good to have Redbeard taken out of a match so critical like this. Chris Hammersley, great backhand shot right on the goal, blocked by Impossiboys.
Drop pass to Chris.
Looking for it.
Koyo. And
Bob Ross definitely awake now. Impossiboys definitely tasting the opportunity for victory here. Not going to give it up. Oh!
And there we go. Same shot again.
Three unanswered
goals
in a row.
The momentum has definitely shifted towards Bob Ross's favour here after a fairly rocky start and not being able to retain possession or get
Absolutely. Bob Ross came out real slow, and now look at this.
Again.
Dodges the hook.
Same shot again, straight through the bottom bracket. Woods with the cross for Impossiboys. Being challenged by Koyo. Winding his way back on.
Back into his own territory.
And Lou with the ball. We've got Rob from Impossiboys just hunting deep, looking to make a pass option. Chris Hammersley not giving Woods any space. And a bank shot.
The bank shot
that is going to go wide right. I mean, if there was a time for it, it was then.
I think it probably takes me 30 seconds before I go, oh, why not try a bank shot? But to just rip one in a fraction of a second is what we might say in the South is gumption.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can even think about.
Unforced error there on Rob. Brings himself down. Bob Ross's ball. 30 seconds.
Left in the game with Bob Ross with a 1-goal lead. And now Bob Ross is playing for time, just controlling that ball, being challenged very deep by Rob. He's not going to give them any space.
Rob's wanting to rescue a tie from the jaws of defeat here.
Koyo giving Louis a little bit of space. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's Bob Ross's game. Oh, Impossiboys visibly frustrated in what was their match. It really was.
But we just see that momentum shift. It's so key in this sport. Like, there are very few teams that can seemingly come back without being affected by it.
It's true in all sports, and it's true in bike polo, that morale itself is an asset in play.
Absolutely, it is so important, and especially in a format like this when you do have some more time that you can just sort of play with other teams' emotions if you're so inclined, or if you're so skilled.
Well, it's not even just playing with other teams' emotions, it's managing your own.
Yeah, that was certainly a fantastic game to start the morning off with, and between two, an American team and a European amazing team as well, so good to see.
Absolutely. Dramatic, 1-point margin, that's all it took. You don't have to win by 10, you're winning by 1, getting 3 unanswered. Oof.
I mean, I was always under the impression in this sport, if we tried to sink as many goals as possible, it always counted forward for the next game. If you get above 5 ahead, you carry a couple of goals into the next one.
Now, I'll say this, though. It took Bob Ross a lot more energy to get there than they probably wanted to spend in the first match like that.
Yeah.
But getting Impossiboys first thing in the morning, sun in your eyes when you're in the goal, tough. That's a tough one.
I think we want to start off with, yeah. Okay, so I think the next game we have up as well will be another European team. So it's Geneva Alley Cats, who we've previously seen on this court as well, I think, for the morning. And I think they'll be playing against
the Spectres.
Yes, the sole Australian team to make it through the final day of play.
Which is pretty exciting for your country.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's always good to see your fellow countrymen and women make it through.
All right. So stay tuned for that. Finishing up here, Bob Ross 3, Impossiboys 2. Stay tuned, and we're going to have you Geneva Alley Cats versus Spectres.
The 2017 World Hardcourt Bike Polo Championship is presented by Kentucky for Kentucky and by Fixcraft, Paquet, West 6